This isn't how I wanted this video to start. And what this video is all about is not what I wanted it to be about. I am at the Boom Festival. This is probably one of the world's largest psytrance festivals. And as you can imagine, I had high expectations coming here. But I just didn't know the environment was going to be this hostile. I am so exhausted, you have no idea. I have to dry up, I'm soaked in sweat. To my dear Australian neighbors who I spent most of my time here with, I am so sorry I had to leave. This festival, this whole place is so huge. It's tremendously huge. You have to walk and walk and walk and walk to go anywhere. And each single footstep that you take on this soil, it spurs a cloud of dust. And with tens of thousands of people walking everywhere and bikes and weird cars. Wow. My throat is sore, it's hurting from all the dust I've been breathing. The ants that are walking around here, they are humongous. They are the largest ants I've ever seen in my whole life. The environment here doesn't want us people around. And I'm going to respect that. Fuck. Look, guys, I'm so sorry. I wanted this video to be all about this psytrance festival. I've seen a lot of cool shit here. I met a lot of cool people. But I can't stick around no longer. I have to pack up my shit. I've been drinking heavily tonight. Even took some drugs. But it was low quality, didn't do much. But I need to fucking leave. Just made it to the pet hotel where Barsky is sitting a prisoner right now. And we're going to pick him up. This cat is going to be so happy to see me again, I think, I hope. Hey, what's up? How are you doing?
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Good.
You took good care of my cat?
Yeah, sure. He's been great. How was the trip?
Yeah, it was a nightmare, dude. It was an absolute nightmare. The dust and the heat and everything. It was...
I've lived that
Barskin! 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 Oh, men hej Barskin!
He'll be alright with you. He was alright with you all the time.
Hej Barskin! Oj, vad du luktar konstigt, Barskin. Vart är min puss? Ja, får jag ingen puss? Haha, I thought he would be a little bit more happier to see me. But he just want to go out. Hey, Barskin!
He is a great cat.
Yeah. Has he been behaving?
He was out here with me for a bit. I won't say it was for too long because, man, the weather, the heat.
Yeah, I know.
The sun just make everybody
Go crazy.
go crazy. Yeah. So
People.
that's probably what made you leave your
Yes, yeah. It was a living hell, you know. It's a fucking living hell. Men bara ska komma med honom. Bebis. Oj, ja. Så ja. Nu är vi hemma. Herregud vad du luktar konstigt. Nej, fy fan. Måste sätta på bilen och lite AC här. Jag håller ju på och dör. This little cat, he's happy to be home again. And I am absolutely thrilled to have my little boy back. I have missed you like crazy, Barskin. I really don't know where we are going next. Somewhere. I might even flip a coin where I go next. I really have no idea. I'm going to decide that in the next 3 minutes. Huh? And then I suppose you will find out very soon in the next scene of this video. Catch you in a bit. Where do I start? I don't know. It has been a couple of weird days for me here. Picked up my cat and we kind of escaped ground level Portugal. We went up 1.5 hours away, and now I am parked at what I believe is the highest altitude in mainland Portugal. We are, I think it is 1600 or 1700 meters up in the air. And although it's not cold here, it is a moderate 18, 19, 20 degrees or so versus like over 40 degrees down below the mountain. So this temperature here, I love it. Let me show you my parking. This is my lovely view. There's an abandoned building down there. Believe it or not, over there, well, behind this tower of sorts, they have a shopping mall where you can pick up some local touristy things. Kind of boring, so I haven't spent too much time there. We're not even going to go there with the camera today. All I wanted to show you was my parking here, and I wanted to touch on a couple of details why I had to leave the Boom Festival. One thing that is weird is what we can find over here. I find this very weird. Look, there's a hen house here. I'm not kidding you. This piece here, it's loaded with hens inside, chickens or whatever you call it. Hello. And we are out in the middle of nowhere. And there's chickens here. Like, how did that happen? Who comes up this mountain every day to take care of the chickens? Well, I've been here for a couple of days actually, and I haven't even seen anyone come to this box here. So weird, super weird. This parking, it really gave me a much needed break from the hot temperatures down there. I've been loving it here. There's not much you can do around here, obviously, except taking walks out in the prairies. Before heading up the mountain, I actually made friends with another female who lives in her car full time. So we've been hanging out here and we've been taking walks together. Has been really calming, soothing for my soul to be away from all that noise at the Boom Festival and all the people at the Boom Festival. Anyways, let's talk about that. I am sure that a lot of people are having lots of fun at the Boom Festival. It just wasn't for me, for a couple of reasons. Primarily, I believe that my biggest struggle was having my home parked extremely sloping in the middle of a fucking continuous dust storm. I needed to keep everything open on the car, and dust kept blowing in and covering everything. And at nighttime, you tried to go and sleep in a bed covered with dust. I mean, it was a nightmare. This whole event started out as a nightmare. I went there on Thursday night, officially. The event started on Friday. Thinking this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna get the full Boom experience. I'm gonna have to spend some time maybe in a queue, but it's gonna be fun. Yeah, traffic stopped 20 kilometers before the main gate. And I spent the whole bloody night, 12 long hours awake in a car queue, stopping and starting my car engine all the time. I know some people had to turn around because they didn't keep enough gas in their car to last them the entire night. They didn't expect that to happen. There was nothing I could do in my car to keep myself activated and engaged in something creative because I had to sit in front of the steering wheel. The queue, it stopped and it kept moving, and it stopped and it kept moving all the time. So for 12 bloody hours, I was sitting there, sweating myself to death because you can't keep anything open. I can't keep my whole side, or at times the queue could move very fast, and at times we were driving underneath trees, so I couldn't keep the skylights open. The only thing I could keep open was my front windows of the car. And also, since the car's engine was stopped most of the time, I couldn't have the air conditioning on. So it was dusty, it was super warm, and I was just sitting there staring out on a car queue for 12 hours, you know. At a few points, they even collected like hundreds of cars on a big dusty area, completely disorganized. So at times, this whole cloud of cars was starting to fight each other to get to the exit. I think what they wanted to do was to make lines and release lines out of these areas, but that's not how it turned out. This whole thing was completely disorganized. So yeah, it was no fun at all. It was no fun at all. I had to start fighting cars too. And we were all packed. I had cars circling me. They were this close. I even saw other cars bumping into each other. And so while I was sitting there torturing myself in this heat and dust, I also had to be very nervous about what's going to happen to my car. You know, am I going to have a whole car after this? Or is it going to be scratched up? Oh, it's a fucking nightmare. So disgusting. Here's another lizard. This has been one big problem with this parking. My cat keeps bringing back lizards and insects like this big. The first catch he had, I thought it was a mouse. And then he comes up to the car and it's literally an insect that big. Like the world's weirdest beetle I have ever seen. Disgusting. He drops it on the floor. I kick this beetle away, and when it lands a little bit further away, it explodes. Fucking beetle exploded like a bomb of some sort. And it left a pool of slue and just gooey stuff on the ground. It was disgusting. Anyways, never mind. Barski. Barski. Barskin. Va? Låt bli den där jävla ödlan. Kom här. Kom. Nej. Åh. Jävla. Nej, käften med dig. Gå in där nu. Var still där inne nu. Why does he have to keep bringing all this shit back to the car all the time? Gosh. You know, not too long ago, I had a fucking mouse which he deposited in the car. And guess where the mouse went? Into the air system. So you can see my vents at the bottom floor here. I keep them closed now because I literally had a mouse running around inside all these pipes in the floor. And I was fucking panicking because I thought this fucking mouse was gonna drop dead somewhere in the floor and was gonna cause a smell in the car that I can't get rid of for another 100 years, you know, shit like that. Fuck, it's very problematic to have a cat. It really is. Gosh, they didn't play any music on that Friday, which I think was because they knew all of us was going to be dead zombies that needed some rest. So I gave it a good shot. I slept in that fucking desert. Me and a couple of friends, we go down to the main stage, and behold, the music they start playing is just complete crap at a low volume. And the people I were with, they agreed with me that it's fucking lame music. And at this point, I pay such a tremendously high price myself for what I can endure. And I just felt that, why the fuck am I doing this to myself? You know, I have a car that I can just hit the road, go somewhere, and let the adventure continue. rather than patiently sitting there awaiting a whole week to just end for whatever reason. To me, this really wasn't worth it. In my particular situation, I had my home with me, and I knew that with all this dust, I was continuously risking things to break in the car. That fucking dust found its way into every little corner of the car. The car really doesn't want to be there. It was parked in a sloping end like this, by the way. There was no leveled parking. Anytime I spent in the car, I was standing like that. Like, it was a torture. It was a torture for my car. Had I gone to this event with a bus that probably, I hope, has a fast lane into the festival, and with a tent on my back, sleeping in a hammock or whatever, then I mean, I can see the charm in all of this. It was a super cool experience to have. I'm glad I actually went there. I've never been at a festival that big before. It was like coming to a different country inside the country, with lots of different areas and vendors and stages of music and everything. It was out in a really cool landscape. Where I was parked, took me about 15 minutes to go downhill all the way to the main festival area. But it took me at least 30, if not 40 minutes to walk back up in a blistering hot sun and all this dust. It was extremely, extremely exhaustive. You have no idea. There were supposed to be shuttle buses, but I and the friends I were with, we never saw any shuttle bus. Right from the start of it all in the queue to no shuttle buses, there are certain details I could add to all of this, which is going to demonstrate how all of this was extremely disorganized. So I think that had they been a little bit more smart about it, my experience would also be better off. There's one little more detail to be added here, why my experience was so bloody negative, to be honest. I am sensitive to heat and all that, and I was worried about my car, but I also didn't like being packed in amongst 47,000 people. Yeah, that's the number I heard, 47,000 people. What I'm used to is places like this, where there's pretty much complete silence and no people around. Now, I was parked amongst 47,000 people, sloping in 40 plus Celsius degrees hot weather, with dust storms basically blowing inside my car. That's all. Without the car, probably I could have managed better. I don't want to be bashing down on this festival too much, because I think that by the end of the day, it's kind of my nature to just, hit and leave. I'm not a very patient guy. As soon as I have been somewhere and I feel like, okay, I've seen it, right? Now what? Let's go. Yeah, so it's what it is. I did extract some good parts out of it. I met some cool people, and I got to experience one of the world's largest psytrance festivals. So now I can check that off of my list, Where I go next, I really have no idea. I am inclined to go north. I pretty much had my fair dose of heat and honking cars, I miss the north very much. But at the same time, I came here specifically to explore Lisbon and the southern coast of Portugal with this car. That was the big main target. And since I'm this close to it, maybe I should stick to the plan and try to speed through it all. I don't know. I guess you will find out in the next video. Super. Okay. I really didn't think this video was going to be about this at all. Me up top of mountain talking to you about how bad the Boom Festival was. I didn't really plan on that. So I'm so sorry this video was a little bit boring. Hopefully the next one will be much better. Okay? So, I'll catch you then. Good night.